It's time for Karandrin. Welcome back to Karandrin Role Playing. My name is Kevin Manus Pennings, also known as Crack Palantir. I'm your host and game master tonight for episode 29 of Brise's Tale. And as always, my good buddy Max is here to play Brise. Say hello to the lovely people, Brise.
Hello, everybody.
And Max. Sorry.
I was talking to you. We're talking to everybody.
Sorry.
Welcome
Apologize.
back. Karandrin with a little bit of scat, as always.
That's right. Nothing scatological. We are here again, episode 29. No one believed we would make it this long, only because no one can cancel us. So here we are, and we had quite an interesting episode last week, in which toward the end of the episode, Brise was confronted by Tanzot, the
wizard Tanzot.
The wizard Tanzot, who is Lord, is a visiting Lord's chief wizard, who is prying into Brise's actions and the actions of his companions, which includes the wizard Adderbeer, an aging wizard who is helping this local goblin noble. And so now Brise is playing double agent. Why don't you fill us in a little bit about your double agency, and I will work on.
You mean about the plans that I have to do, or like what happened?
Like in what way you're playing double agent?
Well, this is interesting. So I met Tanzot. He's obviously against Adderbeer and trying to find out what he's doing and possibly put a stop to it. But him and I talked, and I ended up giving him a red herring of a sort that he seemed to fall for, a list of magical items or magical ingredients that are pertinent to what Adderbeer is working on. And so now Tanzot and I are kind of in league in a way. If I have more information to give him, he's willing to accept it. As well as another spy I've kind of made friends with, allies with, on Algrit's side. So I've been kind of maintaining contact in that way. So yeah, really interesting situation. I have a lot of power, a lot of influence right now, but also a lot of people eyeing me and a lot of kind of danger that could have happened. I was almost basically just attacked in the streets last session, if anyone remembers, by a bunch of drunk guards of Algrit. So do need to watch my step.
Yeah, it's a weird sort of, not exactly court intrigue, but sort of definitely in court machinations throughout town, as these two nobles are locked in sort of a very sneaky Cold War with one another.
Right. Kind of like on the fringe of everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the two nobles, just to keep people apprised, on Brise's side, sort of Brise's patron is a goblin female noble, Lady Miagral, and that on the other side, in a neighboring county, is Lord Algrit. And with news of Brise's friend, the wizard Adderbeer, having joined Miagral's court, there is now a heightened tension between the two lords, and Algrit has come a visiting to set eyes on the situation himself. And we know that there are spies about, and like we said, Algrit's chief wizard has directly confronted Brise after Brise saw through his illusions, trying to dupe Brise into revealing information.
Yeah.
So we start on the beginning of a new day. Brise, after the confrontation, had made it back to Lady Meagral's keep, and is now awake and about to start her day. And what is on tap for us today? What's on your shopping list here of things to do to help out your situation?
Well, the first thing is we're going to talk to Burla if I've got some access to the library, so we could just do some research on Nath Noro and the Iron Empress, these historical figures that I've stumbled across. So we could roll that up, if that happens. Then it's kind of hanging around the keep and seeing what information I can get about what Algrit's kind of intentions and his plans are, and more info about the Lady Meagral's reputation. And then I might head into town to get more equipment for disguises, more like different clothes, another horse, and also to maybe get info on Tanzot. I feel like there would be more about him, and also more about probably about all of the three figures in town. So so kind of spend the first half of the day in the keep, then maybe after lunch we can head into town and do those things. So
there you go. So we so you're
all planned and ready to go. So
that's prepared. Right. So you do your morning ablutions, you get ready.
Just say it's all planned and just wait until I get ambushed by like a demon or something and just like throws everything out the window.
That's right.
Hold on. This is Rollmaster.
Right. So you go out to the hall, you're ready to go, you just need to eat, and of course contact Burlo.
Mm-hmm.
Burlo being sort of the major domo. He runs the house, runs Adabir's household, and so Burlo is in fact on your floor, just down the hall. You give him a nod. He approaches and asks, would you'd like breakfast? It's down in the parlor, ready.
Well, thank you. But I was going to ask about, you managed to secure access to the libraries here at the keep.
Well, that's right. You had asked him to do that, right? The day before.
Right. So I haven't heard from him yet.
I've had to take the matter up through Adabir. I was flatly refused.
Oh.
And it is perhaps a misunderstanding about my position with Adabir's household, that they thought I was someone further down and therefore did not deserve an answer. But Adabir is taking the matter up.
Okay. I'll wait patiently, which is not in my character, but I'll occupy myself with other things.
Exactly. That's really the trick, right?
Well, okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Check back in then, and I'll head down to breakfast. I'm definitely dressed in my town clothes.
Right. So, are you gonna? I mean, if you're gonna buy, you and I before the stream had talked about you buying extra outfits so that you could be, easier to disguise yourself and so on. Do you have a container to put those outfits in? I don't want you to go to town and be.
Oh yeah. I would bring my bag of holding.
Okay.
Just no one's looking. Just throw. It's like, wow, you bought a lot of clothes.
That's right. I mean, I guess I could try
packing.
Right. Roll for me.
86.
So it does occur to you, if you could get a vest made with a great deal of padding. Maybe even try it. To be the most secretive, unfortunately, you may even have to try to make it yourself, to buy a vest and buy some cloth and do it. Then you could describe your femininity and try to appear as a bulkier male.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
To give yourself just a thicker torso, even out your breasts, and maybe padding even on the arms and so on of your shirts, and so that you would appear.
You know what though?
I'm
very concerned about my appearances, and I feel like I don't know. I'm curious how my character think about it. I would look really weird, So I'd rather just face change into like a man,
or you'd have to probably face change into a woman, actually,
or a different woman. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's more on my character's alley. I
Sure.
like that idea.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, but the limitation that occurs to you is disguises don't have a duration, whereas potions do.
That's true.
And so it's not as though you're going to do it unless you're happy with the results. You're not going to put on the costume.
Yeah. I just that thought, like, if I do that, I would want to put a lot of time into it, and that might be
right.
Time consuming. Yeah.
But it's something you could do at night, in the privacy of your own room, is sort of generate these costumes, and there are other, I don't know what your character would think about trying to appear as a beggar, or there's also a question just basically of props. Like, for instance, do you hire a wagon or buy a wagon and put barrels on it and so on, just so you can appear to be a merchant?
Right.
Just throwing out examples for you to consider.
Yeah.
But anyway, go down and have breakfast. They are just setting it out. I mean, they're just bringing stuff in still, one dish at a time, still very hot. No one is up except for the staff. You definitely still feel watched today. And in particular by one female servant. A middle-aged goblin who just, is certainly less subtle than the others. Seems to be paying particular attention to you. You can do with that what you will, of course, confront her, leave her, whatever. You eat. It's fine. What would you like to do?
All right. So, I mean, after the meal, is that, one maid still hanging around?
She's there throughout the meal, off and on.
Yeah.
She is not the one who stations herself in the room, but she's always coming and checking on, does anything need to be refilled? Like, are the jams at a good level? Right. I mean, she's, she's checking on fires and so
there's a way I could just pull her aside, and because the one that does kind of annoy me a little bit, like, she should mind her place a bit, but two, that might be an opportunity to like get some information,
sure.
And why are you so curious about me?
Right.
So
and you can even, from your own affluent past, you can just give her a talking to, and you could send her out of your presence. Yeah, I mean, you can say,
I just ask her to come into the other room. It's like, I need to talk to you for a moment.
Sure. You can pull her aside and do any of this. You can tell the servant who is sort of waiting on you in the room to make sure no one else enters. And then you can really give this woman a talking to if you'd like.
Let's do that. Why not?
All right.
Feeling powerful.
You send your sort of waiting girl out, and you get this goblin, waiting for you. I'm gonna roll up her personality really quickly. That
Nosy.
for some reason did not work. There we go. So, what would you like to do?
First, just what would I say?
I don't care if you're always gazing at me.
Well, yeah, something along those lines. It's impolite to linger on. Servants shouldn't do that. Linger their gaze. No matter how much talk there is going about.
Right.
Them.
Roll for me.
7 or 700.
I mean no offense. I mean no offense, lady. I mean none. I am simply struck by your beauty. And you know what? Let's do a gut check on her.
Yeah, okay. 24.
Hard to read, but here she does seem to be telling the truth.
I show her a little bit of shoulder, see if that's what. Struck by my beauty, eh? We'll see.
We'll see about that.
Well, then I'll it's like, well, fair enough. I'll change the course of conversation. What it can't just be my beauty though. Like, what are people? Certainly, people have been talking about.
Me and my companions.
About me and my affairs.
They talk about very little else, except, of course, Lord Albert's presence here.
Mm-hmm.
Roll for me.
12.
Okay. What would you? So, she admits that you and Lord Albert are the two primary sources of conversation.
Hey, Obi-Wan.
Oh, hey. Strike her with your beautiful hand.
I think I will. Well, just I kind of want to elaborate. Can you, what are some of the things people tend to say?
About which?
About me first, then about the Lord.
Roll for me.
43. You know that I should check my character sheet. Because I kind of think like this is pertinent information, but at the same time, am I like into like kind of what people think about me? Uptight in particular. You know what I mean? If like people have an opinion of me, how would I take that? I'm curious.
That's think about.
It depends on the person. I'm just looking through my character sheet right now.
Yeah, I don't think you have I mean, obviously, I think you would want generally positive impressions. I don't think you're super independently minded, such that you would be beyond all of that. So probably like most people,
Right. It's like anything that might lead me, because like uptight in particular, might, if I'm perceived a way I don't think, that might really irk me, I guess
you certainly, that's more in terms of like how things are done and how you like things. You know what I mean? Like you like things a particular way.
True.
Is how I meant that personality trait to be used.
Okay.
Okay.
So, then we'll just take whatever she says with as it comes.
So she grimaces like in pain, which is the goblin version of a blush. That's the goblin sign of embarrassment.
Oh.
And she says it's not worth repeating. The fact that an old man has a beautiful woman as an assistant.
I was thinking of that, Kevin, but I wasn't going to bring it up.
Is purely a matter of professional relationship, and means nothing untoward about either. So she seems to be certainly
Okay. Well, that I definitely don't care about. Okay.
well, I mean,
Leave
and
that aside.
probably embarrassed that is.
Yes. Yeah. I'm like, I wouldn't have considered that, but it's so outlandish, you know.
But you do believe her embarrassment for having to repeat it.
Right. Right.
Um, where's her? There it is. So, what would you?
And then I ask about Algrit, about and what do people say about him and his interests here.
What they say about snakes, my lady,
Mm.
that it's no good having one so close. And he's more treacherous than most. Roll for me.
65.
Difficult to tell if she's speaking out of an accurate view of Algrit and what she's heard, because her loyalty to Mia Grawl is very clear.
Yeah.
So is it, well, he's just an enemy and therefore he's terrible.
Right. I thought of that, kind of flashed in my head too as she was saying it. So but that's why I think I need to go to the town to find more about.
Yeah, more neutral parties maybe.
Yeah.
Roll for me.
Stop making me roll 42. No, it's called Roll Master, but jeez.
I know. Well, I can't tell you to Karandrin something.
True.
So it occurs to you that, you know, if you wanted a spy, then she is at least very committed.
Yeah.
And that is, that's a good quality to have in a spy. But by the same token, anyone near, you know, with access like she has would be good for a spy.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah, if I would just ask her, you know, here's the deal. If I would like you to tell me if any new rumors, you know, any new conversations circulate about me or about Algrit, you know, in the and then maybe at the, you know, at the end of each day, if anything, if you have anything to report, you could tell me that.
I couldn't possibly serve as a spy for you, she says. Roll.
86.
The way she says for you, you are certain she is absolutely reporting on you.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
You're like, she had you going. Like you were, you know, she seemed to be innocent enough.
Yeah.
But she's not very smart. And so,
Yeah.
and she didn't expect to be confronted, of course.
Well, then I think we're kind of at a standoff then. Can't think of
Well, knowing that she is a spy has its uses, right? Because now she can be fed misinformation.
True.
And you can let, you know, Burlow and Adabir know. So.
Well, then, I mean, I'll just ask her, you know, her name, make sure I have a good image of her face, and I think dismiss her.
Danavai is her name. Dannavai.
All right. I think I have too much to worry about because all I'm doing is just asking her to collect information on me and Algrit. I mean, it just makes stokes the coals a little bit more.
Right. But you were able to oust one, and that's got to make you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Not oust, I guess out one to yourself, if not, even if she doesn't know she's been outed.
Right. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I forgot to change the whole title. What's going on with me? I just started playing.
That's right.
Lovely artwork, lovely artwork, everybody. Always inverted. It gets me.
I know. So there's one confirmed spy you feel,
Okay.
which can't be particularly surprising, but it does mean that you can place stuff, like I said, to send up the pipeline.
Okay, well that's then that's breakfast. I'll make sure the other, allow the other maids and servants in and finish up breakfast. And then I think we can do the same thing, but maybe around the keep. Like I said, we're going to eavesdrop a bit, just kind of get an idea of.
Well, and certainly you don't think it's going to be difficult. You don't think it's going to be difficult to get a sense of Algret's reputation.
Exactly. Yeah.
While there's why there's going to be a lot of crap to filter through, right? You just look for patterns,
right?
The
other thing is, I don't know how this would work, but like, I'm learning to do spear and dagger throwing. Like if I could do that, and while we're doing that, I just make casual conversation about like.
Oh, exactly.
But I don't know. Are we allowed to do that while the whole castle's in this state? Like just throwing spears for target practice.
Well, because there'd be a courtyard set aside. You know what I mean? They would have to stop traffic, and there's not. This is not a society. Well, much like our own, it's not a society that cares at all about fairness. And so you walk in front and get hit by a dagger, that's on you. That there's not going to be recriminations.
Yeah, I meant more about like throwing weapons about when there's like this whole stuff going on. I don't know if people like the guy didn't even want him walking into the potions, shop, right, or the armory.
Well, because that's a sensitive area. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so I don't think you're worried about that being. The bigger problem is he may have added duties and can't give you the time.
Okay,
that's probably the bigger complication. So, do you want to do some of that now and chat with him? So just send a note to him and see if he's got time.
Do that, yeah. Our guard here, 1 silver piece a day. Practice spear throwing.
So you send a note. Burlow checks in with you while you're waiting, just in the parlor. So you have a quiet word with him, inform him what you've learned.
Yeah. In the bay.
Some minutes later, you get a note back asking if you'd like to meet at the same courtyard, and if you remember the way. He'll be waiting on you.
Think I remember the way? Yeah, let's go. Okay. So, I'll definitely make sure I've changed into, my shirt then. And
yeah.
I guess I would have done that with the knowledge I might do that today. So
sure.
In casual clothes already.
Make it to the courtyard. There's a mixture of soldiers about playing dice and so on, but they seem fairly occupied. But it is a mixture of both houses, playing dice and playing cards, but they're at the other end of the courtyard. So tucked away in corners.
Okay.
You think it's fine to talk, especially since he's standing right there by you. And you guys, pitch and talk, and so you kind of, once you roll for me and let's probe him from, his sense of Algret.
Probe. Oh, you know what? I completely forgot. I was going to say this. And
yeah.
Grace potion. Plus 15 to all social skills for an evening. Can never get enough evening.
I know.
Evening I
Oh, you
have.
reversed those quotes. You went like that. I don't know what
Yeah,
that
because it's
means.
the day. It's the evening.
That's-
Would I might just down that.
oh, sure.
I guess I kind of forgot, breakfast, but I would do that now. So
Sure.
while I'm walking around the keep, gives me a plus 15. Hopefully, any
There you go.
persuasion or any kind of convincing. So
Yeah.
we'll do that. And that's the first ever grace potion.
Okay. Mark that. And of course, Mark, you got an empty vial for use.
Do I feel more graceful?
Oh, my Lord, do you? Your gracification is high.
Gracification.
So, yeah. So make a roll here.
77.
He talks freely and without fear. He's not one to mince words just because they're superiors and so on. He's not gonna say it loud, but he's not gonna be hesitant.
Can you hear me, Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay. I think my audio cut out for a moment.
Oh, sorry.
I could hear you, but it just said microphone disconnected.
Oh, weird.
I was like, Kevin, and you're just like, keep talking.
I
sorry,
should do.
Could you repeat that?
So he talks about the Algrid is largely like any of these other damn nobles, right?
Right.
They take more than they give. They do say though that he's
Obi-Wan. Right now I'm meeting with the guard who's teaching me spear throwing for like a silver piece a day. I just thought I'd make conversation with him as we practice. So
right. Quinn, come on. Goblins are all liberals. They do say that he's skilled on the battlefield, and that he has no love for the desert folk, which can't be surprising since he's further toward their lands, and they always fight over control of the various rivers and so on, as well as the continual search for opal out in the desert, for opal mines.
Yeah.
But he doesn't figure he's any worse than the rest. He says that Lady Meagral herself, just 2 years ago, put down rioters here in Balabry, put them down with swords. It's was that fair or good or the best decision? Well, it might not be his to say, but he couldn't imagine Albert doing any different. So you can't, he's so sort of even-handed and nonchalant about it. You do kind of just, he certainly seems very balanced in his,
right.
He didn't have any fierce loyalty to either one of them.
Right. I will ask then, like, how's, this rivalry between the two of them, has it ever, does anything ever come of it? Any conflicts or major changes?
From what I've heard, yeah, there was when Albert was young and first took his position, there was a bit of bloodshed between the two after Albert's cousin was denied a position on Meagral's court. And it came to blows, is what he heard. That is to say, there was a skirmish on the border of their two counties. So and he understands that's happened a couple more times, but he doesn't know anything about those. It's just that very first one.
Yeah.
Because he's been told that about the origin of their bad blood.
Right. Here's something that's funny too. I know that I have some information about Mirgal about that research into the trees, the magic trees, magic absorbing trees that she was invested in. So I'm curious if all the lords have their own kind of pet magic projects. Like, it's an interesting thought. What secret things are they?
And not that I should tell you this kind of thing, but it's one of my assumptions about all nobility, right? Because magic, at least in these fantasy worlds, it sort of is your ace in the hole, right? Yes, you can do better metallurgy and you get the best smiths and all that, and that's also important and more likely to succeed. But investing in, hey, can we cast a smoke cloud over a whole battlefield? Is that a possibility?
Right.
Can we strike all their horses ill or numb? And so I kind of have, in my sort of world building, I have to assume they're all kind of working on whatever little thing gets dropped their way that they think has the most, And Lincoln,
most ROI, as they say in the business.
That's right.
Return on investment.
That's right.
There's the ROI.
And R&D, right?
R&D, yeah.
But even Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln was interested in that kind of stuff. And so he pushed certain ideas. Like there was one where it was a double-barreled cannon that fired cannonballs linked by a chain. The idea is that they would go and just mow down men. They would just clothesline men.
Oh, wow.
But of course, it didn't fire with perfect timing. Right. And so the cannonball came out swinging backwards and killed all the people firing it. And
so here's where you would give that to the enemy as a gift.
Hey, here you go. Yeah.
That's really interesting that he was into those projects. Yeah.
Right. You don't really think of him that way, do you? I mean, you really think of it as like sort of a tech guy in a sense, right?
Right.
So,
right.
My publishing house did a book on him that had a bunch of quotes and so on about him, but from his legal career. And it was just fascinating. And so it was one of the lines in there was when he was a lawyer in Illinois, police came to arrest his client. And they said, Mr. Lincoln, where is your client? And he said, well, she said she was thirsty. And I told her, well, the water tastes pretty good in Tennessee.
Yep.
So anyway, there's
I already said that before. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that line. But so yeah, he's pretty straightforward about it. Whether he's the most observant or most informed man, hard to say, but he's not beholden to either one of them. So
okay. Well then we can just say how many hours of practice then for that, and
roll it for me.
24.
24. That's an hour.
Hour of spear practice. Okay. Good stuff.
Unless you want to work on throwing dagger, you decide.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, we can switch to that after spear.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you want to do, you can split that time however you want. How about that?
Oh, so 1 hour. Well, if it's just 1 hour, then just all spear throwing. Yeah, I kind of would rather master one than be semi-competent at a bunch.
Right.
I can't throw a spear I can't throw a dagger to save my life, but god damn it, I can throw a spear.
That's right. You know how you throw a spear? You take it by the handle and you bring it right over your shoulder. You throw it just like you do a spear. He is terrible at that. Good heavens.
Okay. Then we can just pass by the potions inventory, see if they have any more potions of face change. Nab.
Swing by, they recognize you, let you in. This is if you want to ask about Tanzot.
Yes. And it's funny, now that I'm here, I do remember, I think I have something for them. Check my inventory real quick. I know I was encountered some creature that it was the stinger off of the one creature off of they were like a giant bumblebee or a giant wasp.
Oh, the web wasp.
Web wasp, yeah. I have their stinger pulled off in a bag. Made sure I have that on before I go there to kind of talk to them about that. Yeah. I think I forgot last time I was there, so make sure to bring it this time.
So it's a different gentleman there, different goblin guy who is there, and he's he's at least more polite than the last guy. He looks at the stinger. He tells you it can be used for potions, but only if they're really fresh. And he said, you'll need some magic items of stasis so you can store items and they will not decay.
Interesting.
Or if you are yourself trained in magic, there are some spells that can preserve items. But these, you only get a few hours use of them after you pull them.
Yeah.
For they're too corrupt to use in potions. Face changing, they've got 8 potions of face changing.
And how much were those?
40 gold.
Okay, why don't we take 3 more of those?
That is done. I will adjust their inventory.
20 gold. Come on, Max, you can do this. 120 minus that is 90. Ooh. Three potions of face change. Okay. Yeah, I would just try to, slip into the conversation about Tanzot. I heard a lot about this. Adabir is very talented, but I've heard the man on Algert's side is very much so as well.
He tells you, he kind of shrugs and says, I've never met him. I've heard the name.
Damn it.
That's hilarious. Son of a whore.
I need to find Tanzot's best friend. He probably has no friends.
He is kind of an ass. He really is.
Okay. Well, yeah, then I'm curious about any rumors or any word that kind of circulates about him.
Well, it really wouldn't be my place to tell you things I've heard. I mean, I couldn't possibly.
How about a few? Just slap him on the back with 10 gold pieces.
He's like, oh, that feels like I would say.
Actually, wait, I'll give him 5.
I haven't heard much. They say he's ill-tempered and cruel. And that whenever he travels with Lord Algert, then major things are afoot. I've heard that. But being an elf, I don't know how much you could trust him anyway. But there's little good enough in them. It's not surprising he's cruel.
Well, that wasn't really useful, but thank you.
Well, that he's cruel is kind of a
yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I guess that was interesting. But again, I'm a little bit interested about like the loyalty to me. I guess I would say, what's the word? Try to root out how much of that is coming from his loyalty to Mirgral, right? How would I word that?
Roll your gut check.
Okay. 41.
He really seems, while it doesn't really seem like he has, this is a job.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be a lot of personal loyalty to her.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you don't get any sense that really, I mean, it's all the same to him, and maybe that is why he doesn't pay attention to rumors one way or the other, because it doesn't really affect him. He's not gonna, he sort of keeps a space there.
Okay. Well, then I think I'll take my leave, and we'll spend kind of the rest of the morning just walking around the keep and kind of eavesdropping on anything I can pick up from conversations. I don't know if you just want to roll for that, or you want to do that.
So yeah, we can kind of.
I know I was allowed, in certain areas of the keep, so I'm just going to stick to those. Laula, on my shoulder,
right,
and just admiring the scenery.
Sure.
The rainy sky.
To what degree do you want to keep your hood up?
That's a good question.
If you're going to be listening to, of course, Aldrich's men, I would suggest you have it on.
Yeah.
But you never know when you come across that. So you might as well have it up. I can't think of a reason.
Yeah, good point. I might as well just walk around, try to hide my face while I'm walking about.
Right.
It's weird. It's like, I need to remember, like, this is the keep. Like, if there's someone suspicious, like, walking around, like, that's not what people are concerned about. Like, I don't know. Because I look suspicious with my hood, but, like, that's not.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you clutch your cloak about you like you're cold, then, yeah, you may get stopped, right, and asked. But then your face is your password then, and okay.
Exactly. So, in a way, it's
right.
better. So, yeah, we'll do that. Make sure I have my cloak on me.
So,
although with Laula on my shoulder, it's pretty obvious who I am.
Without what?
With Laula on my shoulder, a songbird on my shoulder. It's pretty obvious.
That's true.
People who know me. I mean, could Laula hide in my pocket?
Probably could hide inside your hood, right? Because it's not tight fitting.
Yeah.
So you just keep it down and kind of fluff it out down here, and just keep your head bowed.
Let's try that.
And you realize pretty quickly as you're sort of milling about, like, you need a reason to be out and about.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you had a drink in your hand, if you're smoking a pipe, if you were sharpening a blade, something like that. So you could just pick up an odd piece of stone and take out a dagger if you've got one.
Oh yeah. There you go.
And just lean up against a wall and play it doing that. Wow. Well, it's the nature of the game.
I don't like the sound of that.
Shoot. So yeah, you find a group of Algert's men, and they're just kind of horsing around, and sometimes they're just sort of doing sword play, not very seriously, just sort of like literally horsing around, right? Like guys with towels in the locker room kind of a thing. And you sit there and just sharpen your knife, and they go on and on and on. I rolled a double aught.
Oh my gosh.
So you
Well,
learn.
so this is 2 times Algret's men have seemed like really incompetent.
Well, they're not. What's incompetent about talking?
Well, no, because the first time, like, they were all drunk and they like charged me, and it's like that's not like what you do, you know?
Well, it's what you do. I mean, you got to remember this is long before professional armies.
Right,
Um,
right. But that's
you're
the funny thing is like these lords, you know, they in their uniforms, you know, it's really is just a guise.
right. Yeah, it gives you a false. Well, and of course, it's a modern bias of ours. Right. We think in uniform, in a sense, means a certain amount of discipline and training, and
Yeah,
there's some
yeah,
sort of core of men, of course, for
yeah.
which that's true. Just to maintain
Yeah, I mean,
castle.
yeah, like in certain societies, you know, also like more modern things, I think that's more true, you know. But
Right.
yeah,
And
back then,
I guess you do have, for instance, Bushidoism was perhaps a counter example to that, but certainly in the Western experience of a medieval army, we don't have that tradition, and now modernism is, or not modernism, but our modern views are,
contemporary mindset,
um,
rank and
and
file, yeah.
so well liked by the men generally, trusted as a commander, trusted not to just be used for petty squabbles. Like they believe that he's honorable when he says that this needs to be fought for. They're willing to go. He's considered by the men also tactically sound, that they're willing to be led by him personally, uh, and so on. Let me hop to the database. I think I already have him rolled up. Boop. Do I not have him rolled up, really? Boy, I swore I had him rolled up. That's fine. Let's do this. Let's do this. Sorry, I'm losing my mind here.
Losing your mind.
There we go. So very honorable is the biggest thing about him, that he really is a man of his word. And the thing about him is extremely cautious, and that is the one failing that they do. He has nicknames because of his cautiousness.
Yeah.
And it's that that is the biggest failing they cite for him. And so it takes a long time for him to really commit to something. A little wishy-washy, because he won't just commit if there's a loss at hand. And in terms of Meagral, they talk, in relation to Meagral, and Meagral has no shortage of steel in her. And she will take risks, and they don't seem to have a lot of. Clearly, their loyalties are with Algret. They admire him. They admire Meagral too, but she should still lose, if you see what I mean. Like, she doesn't deserve to win because she's not Algret.
Yeah.
But they absolutely admire her.
Right.
And they cite the fact that she is well liked by her men. You hear one caution another, well, don't say that to Meagral's men, or you'll be causing trouble.
Right.
So Tanzot comes up, generally disliked by the men. He's just a hard, cruel, mysterious guy. And then there's the general, peasant pondering about what the role of magic could possibly be in the dealings of nobles.
Right.
Um, but they don't like it. They don't like that any of them use magicians and so on.
Right.
And, there's a sense that, if Tanzot could, make a silver off of you by selling your soul, he would do so.
That's a
Um,
great line.
like maybe not Algret's soul, perhaps not. Perhaps he actually has loyalty there, but for any
Right.
of us, no. And you get sort of comments like, "There's no way I would stand shoulder to shoulder with Tanzot in a battle."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Nothing mysterious. Nothing about like his kind of intentions or what he's
right.
pursuing. Yeah, just his that he's
Certainly that he's,
cool.
there's certainly a sense that he's out for his own goals, although
Yeah.
Algret's may be included in that as well.
Yeah.
Um,
It's funny. It reminds me a little bit of Prethnot. I mean, Prethnot wasn't cruel, but she was very, very like self-centered, if I remember.
right. Very
Not
driven,
trustworthy. Yeah.
sort of to the exclusion of other things, even sort of
Right.
common courtesy and
Right. Right. Mm.
um, so that's the lion's share of what you've learned. It's
Nice.
about 8 o'clock. Do you want to take a break and we'll come
Sounds
back?
good.
So, all right, gang. Well, we are going to run to the restroom and grab beverages and probably deal with get some new drugs in us. And so, you guys feel free to do the same. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll be right back after a single message that stays on your screen. Okay. Hi, gang. We're back. We're back. We're back.
And
Hello.
we've changed accents.
Yes, that's very true. Um, I had a viewer tell me that I look totally jaundiced and sick, but we tried to adjust the lighting, but apparently I'm really bright
It is
now.
a little brighter than usual.
Well, now it is. We bumped my ring light up one, and now I am very bright, very bright.
I've always been bright.
Mm, mm,
You look like a saint. That's
that's what I look like. You'll not hear that anywhere else. So anyone who thinks I look sick and jaundiced and dying, you're only 90% correct. And I can always turn this light down, but we'll just go back to a different jaundiced look, which is exciting. So
Is there a third person that's
it's commenting on my appearance.
yeah.
All right, well, we're going to go back to the original intensity. I apologize for my hideous appearance. I should turn my camera off and just do this voice.
This is still the break, by the way. This is just
No,
behind the scenes.
I know you thought you were getting actual role playing today. No, it's just all commentary about my appearance on the stream. So, ton of information about Algrid, not seemingly particularly harsh. I guess I could roll like.
Yeah, I mean, I would know they're just common soldiers, so their opinion comes with some baggage,
Well, and limitations.
Right.
They're not in the court, they're not seeing the dealings and so on.
Right.
There's not much information about, say, his sort of place within goblin politics generally. And therefore, like the opinion of the queen's opinion of him and so on. So, so there's a host of information right there, and you're just sort of generally ignored for the whole time. As the lunch hour approaches, you sort of feel like I've been at the spot too much, and as you begin to move off, there's some excitement in the front courtyard, and you have to head that way anyway to make your way to your quarters for lunch. And people are looking up and pointing, and with alarm.
Ooh.
And when you look up, roll for me.
61.
There is a giant bird very far in the air. And they are alarmed, and they clearly identify it as a great eagle.
Oh my gosh.
And they clearly don't like great eagles. They see them as bad omens. You hear people openly blame Algrid's presence for bringing such a bad omen.
Oh. Is that just an aside? Is that like a bad omen for goblins, or for like this city, or for like generally in Karandrin? Like, did I grow up with that? Like,
no. In fact, the great eagle is one of the signs of your faith. It's Astalin, who is the queen of the gods of your pantheon. Astalin's sign is the eagle, and by extension, the great eagle.
Yeah.
And so it's a uniquely goblin view. If they depict an eagle with Astalin, it's always at her feet or on her shoulder, so that they can be shown in scale.
Okay.
And so they never do emblems for her in the goblin temples. Like an emblem of an eagle on a shield is not done because there's nothing to put it to scale. Yeah. They put live eagles on her to scale, so you know that that's not a great eagle.
Right. That's
So, so you even hear, you hear fights, like arguments between goblins about, obviously between the two houses, staff of the two houses, about, Algred has nothing to do with this. Algred always brings us good luck and this kind of thing, and sort of these loyalties.
Well, I'm going to stay away from that crowd in case anything breaks out, but I do want to watch the eagle. Yeah, see where it.
Roll for me.
5. I go blind.
Voice under an archway that you had just passed under, but sort of back behind you and lower down, you hear a voice that says, they're quite a sight, even if they did throw rocks at me.
Huh? I haven't heard that voice in a long time. I take a few steps back, look, try to pinpoint the speaker.
There's a little mouse sitting there, and for any newcomers, this mouse is one of the major players in the drama we have going on. Mm-hmm. This is a mouse possessed by the demon Kralum, who will take the bodies of small animals and use them to convey himself across Karandrin here and there. He has been missing, doing research, not missing, I guess. He's been away doing research and convergence, hoping to find some more clues about how to break the vast shackles that hold his natural form imprisoned above a volcano. Mm-hmm. And he has finally returned to report his success.
Well, yeah, actually, and what happened is that I left Convergence, left a note, but I didn't know my exact location, so he could have been searching for me for a while, but yeah.
Right. But if you think it's easy for you to eavesdrop, try being a mouse. Yeah. Very easy to eavesdrop.
I was going to say, what episode are we on again?
29.
20. Okay, so if you want to know more about Kralum, just watch episodes 1 through 28, and you'll get a good understanding of the current situation. It's like previously on. It's like, no, just watch them all like this.
That is hilarious, man. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, guys, just watch everything else and you'll get it. I don't know.
It's easy. I don't know why it's so confusing. Yeah. Okay. Well, Kralum.
Yeah, I'm trying to find Kralum's little caption here I could put up, but I'm not having luck.
It's always this weird situation where it's like, what it reminds me of, I never thought of this, like Alice in Wonderland, like talking to like the Tea Party, like they're all kind of like aggressive, like, but they're all just like animals, like little animals, it's like,
right.
I'd be like, are they cute or are they like, angry? It's kind
right.
Of like, hello there, little mouse demon.
Here we go.
Again,
way up at the top. Oh Lord.
I just say I hope you were able to find me without too much difficulty.
Her power, Verilag's power, is growing at a tiny, tiny rate. I'm able to sense at least your direction now. Although still sometimes it comes and goes, which makes no sense.
My presence?
The sense of your direction comes and goes. Even now I'm staring at you and that sense that you're right in front of me fails me sometimes. It makes me worry that there are other forces working against us that we just don't know about.
Yes. Interesting you say that. He would know nothing about the Iron Empress, possibly, because that was 2,000 years ago. He was bound and changed 5,000 years ago.
The question is how long the faith lasted. It was at least
true. Could be old.
So,
I mean, I'll
yeah.
definitely want to bring it up in the conversation, but
This conversation?
yeah. I mean, might as well now. It's like, that's interesting you say that, because it might be the case. And I'll bring up the in these valleys, there's a certain figure named the Iron Empress, part of a religious worship some 2,000 years ago, who still holds power here. She's appeared in my dreams. Is tried
Appeared
to,
in your dreams.
yes.
Well, the
Very
old girl
strange.
is still around. That does change things.
Oh my gosh.
That deity is who Verlag's people and all the surrounding nations worshipped, except for the dwarves.
Right. Okay.
But the Iron Empress is certainly Verlag's favorite.
Hmm. Very interesting.
Well, we are certainly bringing up the past. Well, if as much as she can do is influence your dreams, then that's lucky for us. But you should watch for other signs, people paying you undue interest and so on. If she's infected your dreams, then she can send dreams to other people and begin to rebuild her following.
Mm.
The worst case scenario is, of course, that she is communicating to Verlag.
Yes, that is very bad.
Well, I wish I could say then that my researches have proven effective, but I've learned very little that seems to point to an easy solution for us.
Mm.
I found references to the great krakens of the north and of the far south that might have the might to rend such metal, that there's no sensible way to bring them here,
Yeah.
much less find them.
Yeah. Did he also? I know we did mention I need to find the creatures that Ochet belongs to in the Unmoth, because I did mention that to Kralum, and he was going to pursue that route. I have that here, that he was looking at that, so I don't know if that came about anything.
He found very little reference to the underground realm and the libraries he could gain access to.
Yeah. Okay.
What he did find were stories of the manifold, also called the chambers. And that seems to be a multi-layered underground world whose entrances lie in a nation far to the south and to the east, and what is now known as the contested east. Not the contested east. What is it called? Oh, geez.
Contested Wilds.
The guarded east.
Fringe
But
geography there.
I know, right? But that's hundreds of miles away.
Right.
And there was no mention of particular creatures that seemed of any help to us.
Right. Okay.
How do you get on here?
Well, I guess oh gosh, yeah, I don't know. One second, let me scroll through my notes, find the last time I spoke with Crown. It would have been in the stables, right? And it would have been arranging with Adabir. So I think he's heard of Adabir, possibly.
I think
Yeah, no, yeah, I have mentioned him Adabir. I have mentioned that
yes.
he's into research, that he's trying to help me.
Right. And so the idea is that he was, I think you guys convinced Crowlum that Adabir is here to help.
Yes.
When of course Adabir is hoping to just drain the guy of power and either let the volcano finish him or, or maybe the additional, if you guys get enough power, maybe you can sever the bonds yourself.
Right.
Right. And so that's
so that's been communicated. So I would
right.
tell him about then that this is part of his plans. He, the goblin noble that he's affiliated with, Lady Mirgral in her keep.
It's a well-guarded place, magically, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
There, I couldn't come in through the front door. I was barred magically from entering. But there's always cracks and crevices. So it took me a good day to find myself in here.
Right.
That eagle doesn't seem too afraid. And as you look, it lands high above the keep and sort of disappears against the background. The goblins are unsettled, and I mean, everyone's, bows are being handed out.
Oh my gosh.
Wagon comes to the courtyard you're standing in, and there's a line of strange looking spears that are notched in the back, and you realize that's meant to be launched by huge crossbows.
I feel like it's almost a little disturbing to like me, if they're a very positive symbol and like they just want them like, I'm gonna write that down. That might be some experience that we do. Just
sure.
Wow, like culture shock, I guess is what
it is. Yeah,
going to India and being like, I love this burger.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
or I guess it's Indians, Eastern Indians coming to America and going, what are you guys? What is that? Burger Queen? Is that what you worship? I mean,
like, that's a funny joke.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
He says he hopes to go through the libraries here in the keep, although obviously he has to be cautious, as guarded as this place is. Finding your way into a keep generally is one thing. It's hard to guard such a large area, but guarding a single large room magically is a lot easier and a lot fewer crevices to work your way through. And then he says, it might behoove us if Verlag could regain some of her power, so I could regain some of mine and thwart some of these defenses. But the situation is as it is. So do you want to give him so you want to generally update him on the status of things?
Yeah, I would just cover just loosely everything that he needs to know, like that how the search is going, mentioned, that the priest birds are looking for him. I don't know, and like on multiple fronts, basically, that we're searching for him. And I will bring up that I do have a way to get to the Unmoth now. I don't think I mentioned that before. The underground realm, and locate the Aberrine, they were called. Abernine, the metal-eating creatures of the underground world. So I plan to go down there and at least communicate with them.
Right. Any reason to mention the sort of your court espionage that's going on?
Yeah, I might as well. That's a good idea just to bring it up. Obviously, we have to deal with the nobles and everything. So progress is slower than it could be, and more dangerous than it could be.
He nods. Well, you are in the ancient dwarven realm now, and therefore it shouldn't be too hard for us to find surely some other ancient hold that might have some key to the metallurgy that binds me now.
Oh.
The problem was I'd hoped to find such information in Convergence and failed.
Right.
But I will search here, and if we fail here, then we'll simply have to find where there might be greater libraries that hold more ancient texts.
Oh, the Philistine would be another thing that. No, I don't. No, never mind. I remember we never brought up the Philistine with Crowlin. That was
right.
Yeah, like that. I was thinking of it, but then things started going south, and so it never really.
Right, and it's really not. I mean, what he could even help there.
Yeah.
Becomes a question.
Just like I can't remember if he was expecting just hear from someone, but no, he wasn't. So
right,
so many moving parts.
There's a lot of moving parts to this. I'm wondering about. I guess. I mean, if any of the Philistine are still researching ancient metallurgy or runes on your behalf, and how to get that information.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't do it in person. All reports suggest kill you outright.
Yeah, I don't know. How would you do that, man? I mean, the Trinidos being spies, but even they're kind of limited in what they can do.
Right.
Write that down, though, that if there is any information they might have acquired and just need to get it from them.
How to get an update from the Trinidos. Not Trinidos, the Philistine. This undead race, for any new listeners, it's an undead race that hates Verilag. Because she and her ancestors caused their absolute genocide, their extinction. They were systematically slaughtered. And now that race haunts an area of rugged hills called the Vetch. You probably want to give him a description and directions to your quarters, right, for any future meetings.
Yeah.
You can try to check there. Yeah. Is there anything else you need from him?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. Okay. Unless there was something I might want to ask him about. No, I don't think so.
So he is off to nibble on some grains and to break into libraries.
All right.
You are off to go grab some lunch and probably check on the libraries yourself. Wait a minute. Why don't you stop him then? If he comes with you.
No, the libraries, Adabir, that went up the chain, right? I was blocked on that. So.
Well, yes, but if Adabir has now granted you, been able to secure you access,
okay,
you could go into the library with.
I'll let him in
your pocket, and you let him in.
Good idea. Okay. Yeah, I would mention that. I should say I've been trying to get access to the library myself. If I've been granted it now, I could easily let you in.
He, hops in your hands and says, "You're the driver." You're his pack animal.
Okay.
And
Next to Lawa.
that's what it's true. Don't fight, everybody.
Songbird and a rat in my hat.
You're becoming your own novel. So you go. See if Burlow has news. No news from Burlow. Go up to your quarters. There is a note from Adabir.
Okay.
Library access has been granted.
Yes. So successful.
And your personal tailor, unfortunately, has been indefinitely delayed.
Okay.
And we'll have updates for you as soon as his travels resume. So, there's some good news. At least Aldrich is out of danger. So grab some lunch. Head to the to the library.
It's really cool. We're spending like the whole session just in the keep, like visiting different parts of it. It's interesting.
Gathering information. There is a letter of introduction to pass to the librarian on duty. And it can get you access basically any time of day or night. This library is more general knowledge. The more specialized libraries of dangerous things is still off limits.
Right.
Granted only permission to Adabir and his apprentices, or apprentice-I, if you want to be technical. So, but fortunately, they have a vast music selection. Now, admittedly, it's predominantly
in scat.
Scat. Okay.
How did I guess?
I know. It's amazing.
You should make every culture in Karandrin is just like scat is there. Like just regardless of like, where they are in the world, they all just know scat.
It's all terrible and done by a tuneless, rhythmless white guy. All apologies.
That's kind.
All apologies to musically superior individuals and races. Honestly, I have no talents in such areas. The only thing I do is play role playing, and I don't do that well, as you will see on. If you just revisit, if you want proof of that, then go back and watch episodes 1 through 28
consecutively.
But interesting, if you watch them backwards, they do tell you to worship Crown. So that's interesting. I think you'll agree. So, all right. So, you get directions to the library. People are still very much on guard outside. you know, you just kind of, you're like, it's kind of nice. People are like watching the skies and not watching me, you know, and
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
off you go, make it to the libraries. It's in the main keep, several floors up. And you knocky knock, and
Yeah. It's still kind of cloaked, you know, trying to
yeah.
keep my appearance hidden. Karen asks, why are they afraid of the eagle? Because it's a bad omen to their people.
Yes.
To the goblin.
In fact, way back in the
Great.
day, when Quinn played, as I recall, he had a character who was observing a group of goblins who were hunting great eagles. But man, that was, God, had to be 20 years ago.
Yeah, I didn't even think of it. Is that inspired by Lord of the Rings, right? Because of the great eagles. I know the great eagles don't like the goblins.
You know, it has to be, right? I mean, I can't say
goblins aren't that advanced as these goblins, though.
Right, that's true. I mean, yeah, these goblins sort of actually have a society and aren't the opposite of I mean, those guys are, what we would call barbarians almost.
Anti-hobbits.
Yeah. Right. Whereas here, I really give them a culture and make them have a different set of values that you just have to live with.
And that's cool that the eagles, that seems like a natural fit, for that.
Right.
The way they perceive them.
Right. You show your credentials to the guard, and you show your credentials, to the librarian, just to the attendant at a simple table. And it's a very large room. You're asked if they can help you with anything. Apparently they were expecting you. They are hyper courteous to you.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you want to do? I said open.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because Crown Marty seems to be a really good source of information on the Iron Empress. I might instead kind of just look for Nath Noro. Spend all my time looking for information on that.
Okay.
And also, I mean, on her wand too, if we could find anything about what was done possibly to it, about her enemies, right? The people who did it. And how it was
right. Done. It does seem unlikely though that's going to be recorded somewhere.
Oh, right. I meant any kind of leads, that might give me other names or other dates that would.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean that might take a while to research. So just roll how patient I am to read through the info. That's something else. Hey, Arpen.
Hey, Arpen.
That's what I said. Hey, Arpen.
Man, so bad.
We should do like a tally. Like if I see someone come in, I get them first. Like, hey, hey.
You're always gonna get them first.
Sometimes you're pretty on top of it, and I'm like my screen's somewhere else. But today I have my screen on the chat, so
right. I said one day I'll figure out a way to make use of this other monitor in the room. I just don't want to bother their stuff, but I'll figure out a way.
The coffee table.
Huh?
Use it as a coffee table.
Ooh.
I have two monitors.
That's right.
Drag the screen to your second monitor. What? That's right. Coffee table.
So, so you want to ask about Nath Noro? Is your
yes. Yeah.
They ask you more details. Is there any detail you want to withhold?
Let me check from what I know about her so far.
So for just a reminder for everyone while he's looking at his notes, Nath Noro was a powerful magic user who fought against evil pretty well, by reputation, she seemed to be very talented in healing magic. Was a halfling, and and so Brees came across some information of hers. You may remember the episode involving the giant wand, and there is where we sort of unveiled some little details about her. So
yeah, I don't really have anything, that I would want to withhold. All I really know is that she was very benevolent and worked against kind of the machinations of the managed nations, cruel managed nations of her time. So I guess another thing would be like references to important historical figures that I guess were in opposition to those nations. She might fall in that category.
So the librarian takes you to a section and says many of these texts deal with the nations of that era. And there are, and there is like a whole shelf
Right.
of partial and complete histories of that stuff. The volume, there seems to be a point of interest for someone higher up here. These volumes are, the majority of them are brand new.
Oh, wow.
Which means that they were, in the last couple of years, they were recopied from older texts to preserve them. So they're going to be in great shape. And except for copying errors, you're, at least learning about the past that was here. You've got a great resource. But it is, it's probably a couple of hundred books.
Well, here's the thing with the same we did with the dwarven priestess. Are these librarians could I offer these librarians an opportunity to do some research for me?
You could always offer.
Yeah. So, I'll do that. It's like, well, this is great, but I'm one person. I'm busy myself. Is it possible for somebody to look into this for me?
Happily, your offer is. Roll me a gut check though. You don't like this person. I don't know that.
25.
All right, roll again for me.
51.
You get a very neutral vibe. You're like, well, it's going to be just a few coins lost if they flake out on me. Fine. Yeah. Set them to work. You sneak crowd them out of your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And off he goes. And then it's a matter of, the what do you want to offer? She's
right. Yeah, I'll offer her, just 5 gold pieces, and I can come back in a week and see what information you might have acquired.
So she takes out quill and parchment, and so give me your targets here.
About topics.
So just Nathnara, was that primarily it?
Let's see. Hold on. Finding my notes here. Yeah. Nathnara, and I'm just curious also about those, I guess specifically any of the nations she might have worked against, she might have been involved with, and their rulers, their kind of
sort of the basic character of it.
Right, their history, yeah, and I guess generally also the religion, of that region.
Right.
Maybe not specifically about the Iron Empress, but like
broadly
their
that
religion
pantheon
and its influence. Yeah.
So the nation she opposed. I don't know why I capitalized nations in my little note here, but I did. That's right, Obi-Wan. One dropped book, and Kralum gets squished.
See, Kev, you need to write like an engineer. That's a joke engineers have. Engineering writing is just all capitals. It's like whenever you see technical diagrams, they're all caps. It's because it's like no one cares about the grammar. It's all just.
That's hilarious.
But it is clearer, when you read it out. It fits better into boxes. Nation she opposed.
And they're pantheons.
Right.
All right. So you're gonna pay her now, pay her half. What are you doing?
I'll pay her 5 gold right now, just to
Okay.
do the research, and I'll come back in a week.
Okay. Leave yourself a note. And I will leave myself a note here. Because really, if you can just tell her you're staying there, she can
Oh, true. Yeah.
just delivered to you as the day goes by.
I would give her, instructions to get any information to Burla, and you can give it to me if you have any findings.
All right, I need to make a note for her. Great. So you've got that in process. You've got Crown smuggled into the libraries looking for metallurgical data.
Yeah.
Also trying to find locations of other ancient strongholds that might hold information, which would be a crazy adventure for you.
Yeah.
Just as the last one was.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, Quinn. Yeah, Brise died. We're just wrapping up the stream now. So.
That's right. It's gonna be.
You missed it. I tripped over a rock. I rolled like 100 for my critical.
That's right. Hey, speaking of, do you have speaking of rolling 100? You mentioned doing a miracle roll.
Yeah.
Is there anything?
Oh man, I didn't think. I was thinking if something like happened, then you could.
Right.
Like the eagle just like alights and says like, "Oh, you're looking for." Oh, I don't know. I can't think of anything right now. Maybe someone will come up later.
So your female goblin librarian, her name is Beyval, Beyvall.
Sorry, say that again. Byev.
Oh Lord, I was going to send it to you, but my stupid keyboard. There you go.
You got it. Beyval.
Demonic heart disease. He's had nothing to eat for 5,000 years. It really, diet doesn't seem to be his problem.
Give me 2 minutes to catch up on some notes here. So.
Yes.
Research, got a note for that.
So while he's researching his notes and catching up on his notes, I think we need more suggestions for what his miracle roll is. That's that one-time roll you get every session, which is a 1 to 100 roll. And so, oh, that's hilarious. And Obi-Wan said, demons don't have hearts. It's weird because I thought I gave my heart away. Oh, I guess I don't have one. You're right. I see what you mean. I had one. But so, are there any other suggestions out there from our viewers about what his miracle roll should be? And this will be our little time killer while Max makes notes that are offensive to.
Time's up.
Oh my God! There you go.
Yeah, it was just you mentioned 2 or 3 things. I'm like, right, it's not Kralum in week from now, but she's also might send me information. So got all that.
So you should have regular updates from her, and she goes through and skims things. You're gonna have a regular entourage of, how funny would that be, right? You get 2 other female librarians or 2 female librarians, and they travel with you. They just keep camp, right? They cook for you, and they do all the research when you enter a town. Yeah. So. Yeah. Max, Obi-Wan votes that You like Max's idea about the eagles. It's there to tell her where the volcano is. Well, that was
Yeah,
the
but-
legitimate one.
Yeah, but I don't know but I don't think that's like a miracle. That's like, I mean, that might happen eventually. I'm working towards that. I kind of want to.
Right. Well, and you couldn't
see.
have the roll anyway until you were face to face with the eagle because there'd be no way to get an answer.
You can shout
Yeah.
it.
Well,
GPS
anyone else hear
directions.
that screech in the wind?
Turn right at the mountain and travel for 50 miles.
That's right.
God.
Quinn posted that he would like to travel with 2 female librarians, and I've always assumed that that's why Quinn bought that windowless van. But that's just me. I didn't know.
I think the term, Quinn, is called bookending.
Oh.
And canceled. Okay.
I always like it when
Anyway.
Max makes an inappropriate joke. It's fantastic. What is next on your list? You've knocked out a bunch of stuff. You've got a lot of things moving.
Hashtag demonetized. Demonetized. I think it's time to go into town. Stop wasting time with this making jokes. Let's keep. I think it's time to swig a disguise potion of disguise. Change face and
Okay.
me in town. So people, it doesn't seem like I'm leaving the keep. It seems like someone else. So
Right.
go back, change clothes, and do that.
Right. So, yeah. So you get your town gear on. Maybe.
Do I maybe even leave my horse behind? Just try to walk into town.
I think it's reasonable.
Yeah, I won't. You know, I'm not going to gallop into town, so it's a decent route.
Right. Although, if you're not, I mean, do you care if you're being followed now, or do you want to wait to take the potion when you're in town if you decide to leave?
I kind of care if that I'm being followed because I mean, like this morning, you know, the one servant was gonna report on me. Like I could have people following me right now.
But is there anything you care about them reporting right now? I guess
that's true. I guess even if they do follow me, that's neither here nor there.
Right.
So yeah, good point. We'll not use that yet, but we might do it.
Take it with you though.
In town, yeah, or
Okay.
On the way back. So
right. So yeah, you just get on your gear. Town gear, adventuring gear. What are you doing?
Yeah, town gear. Make sure I have my bag of holding to gather stuff.
Yep. You mark it down, and there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you just head down the path. And roll for me.
4.
From over the shoulder of one of the mountain's ridges, a great voice speaks to you in Thax and says, "Daughter of man, the priest birds have told me of your interest in the demon.
Okay.
What business do you have trifling in such matters?"
If you read Karen's comment there, it's really funny that's exactly.
I just saw that. Yeah.
So, or is it just I see like him, the eagle, and just me?
Nope.
Oh, I just hear the voice.
Right, because he can't risk being seen. So he found a place near enough the road,
okay,
where he could land.
Right, out of sight and then crawl up.
But the sound of that voice is one of the greatest moments in your life.
Oh,
it fills you with courage. it fills you with strength, and it fills you with hope. And you literally fight back tears, and have to gather yourself before you can speak.
Sounds like you get a lot of experience. Yes.
I mean, yes, that's
Not
how.
to trivialize it, but that's
No, yeah, it's how we do it, in this game. That should be one of the things I put on the website is the experience points system. Oh, come on, Quinn. Giant eagles taste just like manatee. I cannot believe you missed your own joke, buddy. I have known you for so long and you missed the joke. That is not the right joke. The joke is they taste intelligent and friendly on mayonnaise on rye bread with mayonnaise. That is the proper joke from South Park, talking about eating dolphins.
Interesting. I thought it was a funny joke because I don't know how manatees taste, and I don't know how great eagles taste.
Come on,
So
you're
I
from
gained no
Miami.
information about.
You're from Miami. I know you've eaten manatee.
Don't rat me out like that, Kevin. Jeez, it's a secret. It's
I did-
farmed. It's okay.
I did find out that manatee was big food in Brazil for a lot of the tribes.
Yeah.
And then it made it to to the restaurant tables, and they got overhunted, and now it's illegal.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be delicious.
Marquez writes about that a lot, and is like manatees just like always in the rivers, and then like they just disappear because like during his lifetime they probably were pretty sad.
Yeah.
But okay, so I if we can talk in private, I say aloud, then I can explain my dealings. But I'm afraid there are many eyes about. I'll just say.
There is a goblin woman following you,
Mhm.
but she is too distant to hear. I could kill her.
Do not do that. But then it's good. Then we have privacy. I would try to seek it out. Like I'm trying to follow the voice.
Sure, and it's definitely on the other side of this sort of this this sort of slope of rock coming down.
Yeah.
And it must be just perched on the other side and speaking over the rock, out of sight of the thing. Um, so um,
Right. So I just follow that and see if it comes into view.
But if you follow it, then your spy has to follow you.
Yeah, I guess.
And in fact, you now realize I can't stand here and talk to a tree.
Right.
Right. I need
I should try to like just search for something on the ground.
Or sit down and shake something out of your boot.
Yeah.
You can't be observed just standing around talking.
Okay. Because so the thing is I can't get a read on it, I guess. I mean, I don't know what to tell it, like in terms of the truth or not. Nor like how much do I trust this?
I think all of your
well, I forgot my religion, right?
And not just that, the emotional experience of that voice just filling you. I think all your mistrust is gone. I think you would tell this animal anything.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough. That's easy for me then.
I know, right?
I mean, yeah. So it asked me specifically, why am I getting involved with demons? And I would say that what's the simplest way to put it? That unfortunate circumstances had led me, caught in the designs of this demon and some of the, I guess, a person who draws power from it. I've been seeking to, rid myself of that.
My grandfather spoke of a great creature of tremendous evil, chained within the mouth of a fire mountain, and that he and his brothers and sisters tried to kill it with great stones. It is a mountain now banned to us because clearly the creature's power is so great that even the boulders as high as you dealt no damage to it,
Yes.
even though dropped from a higher height than the mountains themselves.
That's crazy. That I confirm that is exactly the demon I seek, and we think the only way to defeat him is to send him back to his own realm.
And you have that power?
Possibly, there are different ways of researching. To break the chains would be to achieve that goal. Would force him back into his own realm. And so finding something to undo the magic on the chains or to remove them is what I've been pursuing.
Then your pursuit may be at an end. We will see if great stones can break those chains.
Oh my gosh.
And there's a huge wind from behind the ridge, and there is the beat of enormous wings, and he is gone.
Is this going to be like an episode 30 season finale of Karandrin? Finally, after all this time.
Hey, it's all sandbox. I really don't know. I actually don't know.
Yeah. Wow, the eagle, that's really cool if they can try that.
It's an idea I'd thought about, at least for them, a long time ago. But the thing is, the volcano is like so.
Right.
So it's going to take, they're just dropping straight in.
And also, like, how would they know that breaking the chains would, that might just free him? It should.
Right.
It seems counterintuitive, but
that's
cool.
A question of that's a question of his lore and what he knows.
Right.
So
what do you say, his grandfather or great grandfather?
Grandfather.
Wow. Okay. So his grandfather, maybe their father, told him about it. So these things live possibly a long time. Very cool. Very cool.
So yeah, that was the priest bird's work.
Yeah.
They definitely found one.
I think that's maybe a good place to end it. You think?
I think so. That's quite an ending. So we're definitely playing next week, barring disaster, which is to say my health. And we're definitely going to skip the 24th, gang, for reasons of holidays and loved ones and so forth. And we'll keep you updated with all other changes to the schedule. And on the 24th, prior to the 24th, I'll put a notice up and let everybody know and do one of my short videos, which inevitably I have to redo because I forget to turn on the mic. So just forgive me. But as always, we really appreciate you guys being here. Oh man, I'm tiny. I'm wee tiny. Look at my wee tininess. I gotta get rid of this damn caption. But definitely we really appreciate everything that you guys do for us in the comments and just your loyalty to us. We really appreciate it. Next episode is episode 30. We're going to do, fun little celebration, silly stuff for that, which we're working on right now, actually, as we speak. But thank you again. Check out Max's YouTube channel as well, where he discusses music and its role in video games. Thanks, as always, to Brise's character art by Elliot Dunavitz, and you can see her stuff on ArtStation there in our details below the channel. And go donate, go read notes and his personality and all kind of things. And am I forgetting something, Max?
Is that a rhetorical question?
No,
I don't know.
I'm a doofus. It's never.
You're good. Donor box, definitely donate.
Yeah, come donate. And yeah, Quinn, sorry, man, no death for Brise yet. But we're doing our best. We're doing our best.
It's really hard.
And so the next episode should prove very interesting if the Eagles have time to get their act together. That should be very interesting.
Lazy Eagles.
They are the worst. So
all right.
But thank you, everybody. We really appreciated everything that you do for us and hanging out with us every week. And we will see you next week. Max, say goodbye to the lovely people.
Yeah, thanks everyone for coming out, and see you next week.
That's right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.